Welcome for another episode of MANOVAAC in conversation with Guruji Naushir. What is this concept of Maya, Guruji, or illusion that we read in spiritual books? Isn't this physical world and this creation real? Because I can feel it, I can actually touch and know that it is real?
Yeah.
Or because we get so strongly affected and influenced by it that somehow we don't know the difference? So, can you explain for common people like us how to understand what is Maya and how to know that we are under its effect heavily?
Okay. Yeah, you see, I'll explain what Maya is, but firstly, you must understand that many spiritual books, especially in Sanatan Dharma, refer to Maya. Now, there are two ways of understanding it. One is a scientific way, and one is a spiritual way. And it's an easy concept. Only thing to practice it is very difficult because the material world feels so real because of our five senses, and pain is so real, pleasure is so real, that to think that it's an illusion is like, what madness is that? How can this be an illusion? But it is, and I'll tell you how you can arrive at that conclusion. First, we'll take a little bit scientifically. You see, when you take matter, any matter, if you go to the very root of it, the subatomic world of matter, there are particles of energy, which is called quantum physics. In quantum physics, you call them particles of energy. There are photons, neutrons, neurons, electrons. Now, what happens is, in science, when scientists study these subatomic particles, they find a very strange phenomena, and that this is the strange phenomena because of which science has not been able to really progress in quantum physics. They see those particles and they don't see those particles. So, they are there one moment, they are not there again. Now, when two scientists are watching the same phenomena or the same experiment, while one is seeing it, another one is not seeing it. So, it becomes subjective. Now, what is this mystery of seeing something and not seeing it? I mean, if it's there, you have to see it, you can't not see it. This not seeing is what describes the illusion. So, it's there, but actually it's not there. Now, maybe in future scientists will be able to crack this code and probably give it a more a scientific explanation. Today they can't. But what it shows us is, yes, it's there, but it's also not there at the same time. So, you see, that is how Maya is elaborated at the very root of matter. But I'll explain it to you in a very simple way spiritually, which you'll understand in a minute. See, we have dreams in the night when we sleep. Now, when we are dreaming, while dreaming, the dream seems so real. I mean, you get scared, you feel happy, you go through different emotions when you're dreaming. And when you come to the end of the dream, and suppose it's a very scary moment, and you wake up. When you wake up, the bubble bursts, and you wake up and you say, oh, I'm in my bed, oh, thank God. Right? And that bubble has burst, it's gone. I mean, that entire sequence that you saw in your dream, which seems so real that you went through certain emotions, it just vanished, right? Now, exactly the same thing happens when you die. So, when you die, this material physical illusion disappears in a bubble. And you realize, oh my God, all this was unreal. Your wealth, your fame, your relationships, your family, your life's work, it just vanished in that one moment when you died. So that illusion is gone. It will never come back. Just like your dream will never come back. Yes, you can have another dream when you sleep another time. And you'll go through emotions again. Similarly, when you die, this illusion breaks. It's gone. It's not there. It's not there anymore, isn't it?
Each birth is like a dream for the soul.
Each birth is like one dream. Correct. That is why it is called an illusion. And that is the ignorance we live in. Maya is what is called ignorance. Another word for Maya is ignorance. So the ignorance is not that this does not exist. Yes, of course it exists. But it is an illusion, and you only realize that illusion when you go into another consciousness. Like how from dream consciousness you go to wake up consciousness, you realize that the dream was unreal. Therefore, when you go from waking consciousness to post-life consciousness, which is the astral consciousness, you realize that the life was an illusion.
So only with change of consciousness can we realize the difference.
Do you realize the difference? Yes, you realize that it was an illusion. So each life then you realize is an illusion.
Till that time it feels
Till then,
so real.
it just like your dream. Just like when you're dreaming, you feel it's so real. So you go through various emotions. Don't you? I mean, don't you get scared in your dreams? Don't people scream in their dreams? They said we have nightmares, or you have some happy dreams. You're going through those emotions because it seems so real. In that consciousness, it seems real. Therefore, in this waking consciousness, this material world seems real. But the moment you go into the astral consciousness, you realize it's a dream, it's an illusion.
Amazing, Guruji. I'm a doctor, so any psychiatric patients who are having delusions, they believe it like as if it's real. And all the while we are trying to tell them, no, this is not real.
Exactly.
So do you feel that enlightened beings like you look at us in the same way that,
A doctor looks at a psychiatric
that we are believing something which is not there?
Not there. Yes, this is a little crude
I know.
analogy, but yes, you see, the way you get out of this cycle of Maya is not to stop living it. Not by that. You can't say, okay, I want to get out of Maya, so I'll kill myself. No, that's not how you do it. You go for enlightenment whereby the ignorance is removed. So once the ignorance goes away, then you can be in the material world and you're not of the material world. And that is the ideal state of a Jivan Mukt. Why do you call him a Jivan Mukt? Because he's in the material world, or he or she, whatever, is in the material world, and yet not aligned to it. I mean, they know they are living the illusion. In their heart, everything is illusion. It will go away.
It's so difficult to grasp this concept.
Everything. Your wealth, your family, your relationships, your pain, your suffering, your happiness, everything is an illusion.
Not only that, now how it feels to be in Maya, like knowing this is illusion and not to get affected by it, especially for.
That's the whole process of enlightenment. I mean, that is enlightenment. What else is enlightenment? When you are convinced about it and you live it, you have to live it. Just reading about it and having book knowledge is not enough, because that you will forget. When you actually experience it and live it day to day, that's enlightenment.
My God, this is like living in two consciousness at one point of.
You can say that in a way, yes, it is living in this consciousness but being aware of the fact that it's an illusion. That is true.
Thank you so much, Guruji. And I'm sure all the viewers will understand now exactly what Maya is and how we have to be aware of it and know how to deal with it, and how there is only way that you can overcome is with enlightenment. There is no other way. Now, the next question is obviously the same, Guruji. How does one deal with this play of Maya? Especially people like me who are in ignorance, but we want to overcome it. How do we do that? How
See,
to
that
end
is,
the illusion?
yeah, that is to a great extent, you have to do certain sadhana or certain spiritual practices by which you purify yourself. The more you purify yourself, the more detached you get from the, the physical world, in the sense that you enjoy it when it's there, but you're not attached to it. Also, the power of the five senses reduces. So you don't crave for satisfying those senses. When this comes to a certain tipping point, then that constant realization that this is Maya, this is illusion, will stay with you and remain with you. Otherwise, you can read it for 2 hours, it stays with you, and then you're back in this world with all its ups and downs. But through that purification of sadhana or spiritual practices, you reach a level of permanent realization that no, this is false, this is illusory, this is temporary, it's ephemeral, it will go away, and it's meant to be that way. So nothing then really affects you. Though you continue to live in this world, you continue to function in this world, because you can't not function, and you can't not do action.
And you take joys in all this
that
this illusionary world offers.
You take the joys of the illusion, whatever comes, but you don't chase it. That's the difference. If you chase it, then you're attached to it. But if you don't chase it, you enjoy it if it comes, and if it doesn't come, it doesn't make a difference to you.
Thank you so much for joining us for MANOVAAC. See you in the next episode.